Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we will continue the stormy yet deeply moving journey of Ly Hoai Ca. In the previous episode, the tragedy of losing her child struck like a sudden storm, shaking Hoai Ca's entire world. The immense pain not only shattered a mother's heart, but also left her with emptiness, torment, and countless nights drowned in tears. Yet, in the midst of life's storm, Hoai Ca chose silence, burying the sorrow deep within her soul. She knew that Hùng, her husband far away, was devoting himself day and night to an important mission. If he were to know the truth, it would only add another burden to his already heavy shoulders. And so, Hoai Ca endured it alone, reminding herself to stay strong so that Hùng could focus on his duty with peace of mind. But can this pain truly remain hidden forever? Will love and silent sacrifice be enough for Hoai Ca to overcome her lonely days, with only Mother Ha and Du by her side? And more importantly, how will Hùng react if one day the truth is revealed? All of these questions will gradually unfold in today's episode. Stay tuned until the end so you don't miss the heartfelt moments to come. Hoai Ca returned home after long days in the hospital. The traces of exhaustion still lingered on her face. Though her body was gradually healing, her steps remained slow and fragile. The days spent within those cold, white hospital walls felt like a nightmare that had just passed, yet the pain never left her heart. In her eyes glimmered a deep sorrow, like a wound that would never heal, stinging each time memories came rushing back. Since coming home, she had spoken little, often sitting quietly on the porch. Every afternoon, as the sun softened and the breeze from the fields carried the scent of straw, she sat there, gazing into the distant sky. A faint sigh escaped her lips, her thin hands resting idly on her lap, drained of strength. The wind tousled her hair, but Hoai Ca didn't care, almost as if the small details of life no longer mattered to her. Beside her, Mother Ha was always there. That gentle woman busied herself with meals and carefully prepared each bowl of medicine, never letting her foster daughter worry about a thing. The meals were simple, yet cooked with all her love, as though she hoped each dish could make up for the emptiness in Hoai Ca's heart. She would often sit close, speaking in a warm, steady voice. "My child, what's done is done. Don't torment yourself any longer. As long as there is life, there is hope. You must be strong for yourself and for Hùng." Each time, Hoai Ca only nodded faintly, her eyes glistening, yet holding back her tears. Every touch of her hand, every look from Mother Ha carried a sky full of affection, like a small flame quietly warming her shattered heart. One afternoon, when golden sunlight spread across the fields, Du and his sister quietly came by. They brought simple gifts from the countryside, a bundle of cakes, a bag of fruit, some fresh vegetables from their garden. It wasn't much, but it was filled with heartfelt meaning. The three of them sat together, no one speaking much. Yet the silence itself carried more than 1,000 words. Du looked at Hoai Ca with eyes full of compassion, torn between sorrow and helplessness. At last he spoke, his voice low but steady. "You must be strong. This too shall pass. Believe me, Hoai Ca." Hearing those words, Hoai Ca pressed her lips tight. She only nodded, her eyelashes trembling. Her eyes turned red, as if just one more word of comfort would break the dam, releasing all the tears she had been holding back. Just as the atmosphere in the small house grew heavier, the elder brother, who worked far away, suddenly returned. Knowing that their mother was staying with Hoai Ca, he came to visit. When he heard about the miscarriage, his face froze. His heart tightened in disbelief, unable to accept that his once strong little sister had to endure such unbearable pain. Ha didn't blame her, nor did he ask questions. He simply bowed his head, his eyes brimming with tears, silently sharing her grief. After that choked moment, Ha said nothing more. He stepped out into the garden, rolled up his sleeves, and picked up the old hoe. He began to tidy the rows of vegetables and tend the corn stalks, restoring order to the little garden. Sweat dripped down, mixing with the soil. Every so often, Ha glanced back and gave Hoai Ca a gentle smile as if to say, "Life goes on. No matter how painful it is, you must rise and keep moving forward." That scene left Hoai Ca silent. Inside, the sorrow still lingered, but within it sparked a faint warmth, a fragile steadiness she could cling to, a reason to continue living, to keep holding on to hope. After dinner, the little kitchen gradually sank into silence. The bowls and chopsticks had been cleared away, yet the tray still carried the lingering scent of wood smoke and the rustic fragrance of herbs. The dim yellow glow of the oil lamp cast long shadows of the three people onto the old wooden wall, trembling with each draft slipping in through the cracks of the door. No one hurried to rise, as if all were clinging to the fragile warmth left behind from a day full of upheaval. Ha sat across from Hoai Ca, his gaze heavy with both sorrow and regret. Looking at his foster sister's frail frame, her sunken eyes, and the trembling hands resting on her lap, his heart tightened painfully. His voice dropped low, slow, and deliberate, each word weighted. "Hoai Ca, sooner or later, Hung will find out. It's better that you tell him yourself, so he can share the burden with you, rather than letting you carry this pain alone. Keeping it inside will only make it heavier, only deepen your torment." His words cut gently yet sharply, like a blade grazing over a wound still raw. Hoai Ca flinched, her fingers unconsciously clutching at the hem of her blouse. Behind her tear-glazed eyes, fear and guilt swelled like an undercurrent, threatening to drag her under at any moment. Mother Ha sat close beside her daughter, her thin yet warm hand slowly clasping Hoai Ca's cold ones. Her own eyes glistened red, carrying the grief of a mother's heart. Her voice trembled softly, yet it held a firm resolve. "My child, I know you worry for Hung, afraid that he will be hurt. But hiding this won't make the pain disappear. On the contrary, it will only wear you down even more. Husband and wife are meant to share both joy and suffering. The more you keep from him, the farther apart you'll drift, and the more fragile your bond will become." Hoai Ca lowered her head, her loose hair falling to hide half her face. Her shoulders quivered slightly, as though holding back a flood of tears. Her lips trembled, each word escaping with difficulty, broken and breathless. I don't know how to tell him. I feel so guilty because I couldn't protect our child. I'm afraid that when he finds out, he'll be disappointed in me, that he'll be so heartbroken he won't be able to continue his work." Her voice broke completely. A hot tear slipped free, sliding down her pale cheek and landing in her trembling palm. Each drop of water seemed to carry the full weight of her grief, heavy and unrelenting. The little room fell utterly still. Outside, the night wind whispered through the bamboo, mingling with the chirping of insects, a mournful soundtrack for a sorrow too deep to be named. The flame of the oil lamp flickered weakly, wavering between light and shadow, throwing their elongated silhouettes against the wall, distorted and quivering, like the heaviness of their hearts. No one spoke again. They simply sat together in silence. That silence, though heavy, carried a hidden tenderness, like a warm blanket wrapping around Hoai Ca. In that moment, the pain had not vanished, but the presence of family softened the cracks carved deep into her heart. It was late at night. The full moon hung high in the sky, its silvery glow spreading across the tiled roof, the rows of beetle palms, and the gourd trellis in the yard. Hoai Ca's small house lay wrapped in silence, broken only by the whisper of wind through the bamboo and the distant chirping of crickets. Inside, A dim oil lamp flickered in the corner, its pale yellow light wavering, casting the frail silhouette of Hoài Ca curled up on an old wooden chair. She had just lain down after a long day, yet her mind refused to find peace. The wound in her heart felt raw, flaring with pain at even the slightest thought. Just then, the sharp ring of the telephone shattered the quiet night. Hoài Ca flinched, her trembling hands reaching for the device. On the screen appeared a name she knew all too well, Hùng. Her heart tightened. Her breath grew heavy, as though an invisible hand was clutching her chest. Taking a deep breath, she hurriedly wiped away the tears at the corner of her eyes before daring to press answer. "My love, how's your health these days? Has Tony been good? Is Mother still there to take care of you both?" Hung's voice came through the line, warm and familiar, filled with love and concern, though faintly tinged with the weariness of a man who had just endured a long, grueling day on duty. For a moment, Hoài Ca fell silent. She heard every word clearly, yet each one pierced her heart like a blade. Her throat tightened, her tears surged, but she fought them back. Forcing a faint, fragile smile, she whispered, "I'm fine, don't worry. Mother is here, looking after me well. You just focus on your work, don't think too much about me." On the other end, Hùng exhaled softly, as though a weight had been lifted. He began to share a few stories from his unit, the challenges of patrol, the new responsibilities he had been assigned, and the pride of standing shoulder to shoulder with his comrades. Before hanging up, he gently reminded her, "Take care of yourself, don't do heavy work. Eat well so I can have peace of mind from afar. I miss you and our child so much. I just hope I can finish my duties soon and return to both of you." Each word struck Hoài Ca like 1,000 needles. His love and longing only deepened her guilt. She bit her lip, her shoulders quivering as she fought back sobs. The only reply she managed, in a trembling breath, was, We miss you too. Please stay healthy, don't stay up too late." The call ended with unfinished words of longing. The brief beeping tone faded, swallowed by silence. Hoài Ca set the phone down, her hands still trembling, her vision blurred by the tears she could no longer hold back. She sat there for a long time, motionless like a statue, staring blankly into the darkness before her. Her heart felt torn into pieces. The cruel truth pressed heavily on her fragile shoulders, yet she lacked the courage to speak it to Hùng. Outside, the night wind swept through the cornfield, the rustling leaves sounding like the whispers of fate. Hoài Ca buried her face in her hands, letting her tears fall freely, heavy drops staining the worn floor, chilling the air around her. She cried soundlessly, each muffled sob bursting within her chest. And the more she cried, the emptier she felt, the deeper her sorrow grew, like a pain without end. Ha sat in silence for a long time in the small room, where the wavering oil lamp cast Hoài Ca's shadow onto the old wooden wall. His eyes never left her frail, exhausted face. Every faint sigh, every tear that slipped down her cheek, despite her attempts to hide them, cut into Ha's heart like a blade. He knew that if the silence continued, this burden would only grow heavier inside Hoài Ca, and the distance between her and Hùng, the husband far away, would only stretch further and further. The thought tormented him, leaving him restless. Ha looked at his calloused hands, tightening them into fists. After a long struggle with himself, he finally made a decision. He would be the one to speak the truth to Hùng on her behalf. Perhaps she would be angry, perhaps Hùng would be devastated, but at least it would free Hoài Ca from the endless spiral of guilt and grief. Late at night, the wind rustled through the beetle palms in the yard, whispering like the voice of fate. Ha stepped onto the porch, his heart heavy as stone. His hand clutched the old, worn phone. The screen lit up, showing the name of his brother-in-law far away. His finger trembled, hovering over the call button. A storm of thoughts flooded his mind. If he spoke, how would Hung react? If he stayed silent, could Hoài Ca endure much longer? Finally, Ha drew a deep breath and pressed call. The long, monotonous ringing echoed in the still night, keeping pace with his pounding heartbeat. The world seemed frozen, leaving only the shrill tone in the air until at last, a familiar voice came through, Hung's. Warm, steady, yet tinged with the fatigue of a long day's duty. Huh? Why are you calling me at this hour? Is something wrong? Such a simple question, yet Ha's throat felt parched. He swallowed hard, glancing toward the door. In the dim shadows of the house, Hoài Ca sat with her head bowed, her hair veiling half her face, as motionless as a statue. Ha's chest felt crushed under a massive weight. Summoning all his courage, his voice came out slow, choked with emotion. Brother Hung, I'm sorry, but there's something you need to know. Hoài Ca, she lost the baby. Please don't blame her. I swear, her pain is deeper than anyone can imagine. On the other end, silence fell. So heavy, so long, that Ha thought the call had dropped. But no, the only sound was Hung's labored breathing, uneven and strained, like a man fighting back unbearable pain. In that moment, Hung's world collapsed. Sitting alone in the barracks, his eyes stared blankly ahead, unseeing. His chest tightened as searing waves of grief ripped through him. The first tear broke free, hot against his sun-darkened cheek, burning like fire. Only after a long while did he manage to speak, his voice hoarse, broken, trembling. I understand. Thank you, Ha, for telling me. I know Hoài Ca has suffered too much already. This pain, no one can fully grasp. Please tell her not to blame herself anymore. I don't blame her at all. I only love her even more. His voice quivered, tangled with ragged breaths. Somewhere far away, beneath the cold white light of the barracks, a steadfast soldier lowered his head, letting his tears fall freely. Yet deep inside, he understood more clearly than ever. Hoài Ca needed him, needed his shoulder more than anything else. And Hung, driven by love and responsibility, silently vowed to himself, no matter how difficult it may be, he would return. He would be the rock, the refuge, for the wife who was now alone, enduring a loss far too heavy to bear. Right after the call with Ha, Hung sat motionless for a long time. The barracks, already quiet, now felt suffocating in its stillness. The ticking of the wall clock echoed, each strike pounding into his heart like a hammer. His eyes were bloodshot, brimming with tears, his breath heavy and uneven in his chest. The once steadfast soldier's body trembled slightly, as if ready to collapse under the weight of the devastating truth. At last, Hung raised his hand, trembling as he dialed the number engraved in his memory, Hoài Ca's number. His finger hovered for a moment, then pressed firmly. The screen lit up in the darkness, the ringtone pulsed again and again, each chime slicing through him like a blade. On the other end, after just a few rings, Hoài Ca's fragile, trembling voice came through. Hung, why are you calling at this hour? Hearing her voice, Hung shut his eyes tight, his throat closing. He fought to stay composed, yet the words that left his lips trembled, drenched in love. Ca, I know everything. Don't hide it anymore, and don't blame yourself. I'm not angry, never. I only love you even more. I know you've carried this pain alone, suffering in silence, so I wouldn't worry. But from now on, don't bear it alone. I'm here. I'll always be here for you, no matter the distance. On the other side, Hoài Ca froze, her heart laid bare as though stripped of all defenses. The pain, the guilt, the secrecy she had locked away burst open at once. She bit her lip hard, her hands shaking uncontrollably, her heartbeat racing. The tears she had suppressed for days could no longer be held back. They fell in torrents, and she broke down, sobbing helplessly, clutching the phone to her chest as though it were Hung's protective embrace. Hung said nothing, only listened. Every broken sob carved into his heart like a blade, yet it also ignited an unshakable resolve within him. He lowered his voice, steady but filled with conviction. Please take care of yourself. Don't let despair consume you. I promise, I'll request leave as soon as possible to come back to you and Tony. No matter how difficult the duty, I'll find a way. Because this, being with you and our child, is home. It's everything to me. Those words flowed like warm water, soothing the raw wounds in Hoài Ca's heart. Her sobs deepened, tears streaming as she pressed the phone tightly to her chest, clinging to the distant presence of her husband. In the midst of her unbearable grief, she felt Hung's love, his protection, and his solemn vow, the only force strong enough to lift her from the depths of this loss. Outside, the night wind sighed across the roof tiles, the bamboo leaves rustling in a sorrowful tune of fate. But within the small house, amidst tears and a promise carried from afar, a flame flickered to life, the flame of love, of faith, of hope. And it was this flame that would give Hoài Ca the strength to endure the darkest days of her life. It was late at night. The silver moonlight quietly poured down from the sky, slipping through the old wooden window, draping the small house in a fragile glow delicate as morning mist. Outside, the cornfield lay still, broken only by the steady chirping of crickets and the night wind rustling through the palms and bamboo. Everything seemed to have fallen asleep, except for a restless heart that refused to find peace. In the silent room, Hoài Ca sat by the window. Her hands clutched the phone tightly to her chest, as though holding on to the warmth left behind from her call with Hung. Tears streamed down her cheeks, soaking into her blouse. Yet, unlike the nights before, these tears carried not only despair and guilt, but also a hint of relief, the comfort she had just received from her husband's love. Deep inside, Hoài Ca knew one thing with certainty: Hung did not blame her, nor turn away. On the contrary, in every word, every tender reminder, she felt his love, his compassion, and his protective embrace stretching across the miles between them. And that alone soothed the bleeding wounds in her heart, a heart that had already endured so much loss. Above, the sky shimmered with countless stars, glowing like gems. Hoài Ca lifted her gaze to the endless expanse. Her lips trembled as she whispered softly, as though speaking to Hung far away. "My love, I will try, because I know you have never stopped loving me. And I have never stopped loving you, never stopped waiting for you to come home." The moonlight glistened in her tearful eyes, illuminating a face both sorrowful and resolute. Amidst the pain, a small flame had been kindled in her heart, fragile yet steady. A flame that would not only light her path, but also guide the way for their little family's future. A gentle, emotional narration fades in, blending with the stillness of the night. After the tragedy of losing her child, Hoài Ca nearly collapsed, but Hung's love and compassion arrived just in time to hold her up. Yet, can such a wound truly heal when he returns? Can time alone mend the scars that linger? And in her lonely days, will the quiet presence of Du and Ha, their silent care and support, lead the story down a different path? The answers remain unknown. Stay tuned for the next episode to uncover the fate of Hoài Ca and those bound to her life.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Lại là mình đây. Và chúc mọi người một ngày mới thật là vui vẻ và hạnh phúc. Hôm nay thì sẽ tiếp tục trong cái quá trình edit video cho mọi người. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ tiếp tục làm video về Ly Hoai Ca nha mọi người. Mọi người thân mến, thì ở những tập trước chúng ta cũng đã biết là Hoài Ca có bầu, nhưng đến bây giờ thì Hoài Ca đã bị sảy thai rồi. Và liệu mọi chuyện tiếp theo sẽ tiếp diễn như thế nào, và liệu Hoài Ca có thể vượt qua những khó khăn này hay không, và những điều gì nữa sẽ diễn ra xung quanh cuộc sống của Hoài Ca, Hùng và Tony, cũng như là mẹ Hà và Hà. Mời mọi người đón xem video để có thể biết thêm chi tiết nha. Mình vẫn đang rất cố gắng để có thể hoàn thành video sớm nhất có thể để có thể gửi đến mọi người. Bây giờ chúng mình thì đang mưa rất là to này mọi người, và mình vẫn đang cố gắng có thể hoàn thành sớm nhất có thể. Hy vọng rằng có thể gửi đến video hay nhất cho mọi người. Tạm biệt mọi người nhé.